we switched the show from yesterday to today. Sorry, but I had something to do at the last minute, and so that wasn't going to work because I wasn't going to be home in time. But, you guys are used to doing the DNN Friday nights anyway, so I figured it wouldn't be a big deal. We wind down to Thanksgiving holiday, and then after that, the next big holiday will be Christmas, and then the day of inviting 2023 in. I can't believe this year has gone by so fast, although I won't miss it. It's been a rough year for me, and I know a lot of you have had similar, kinds of drama. So anyway, what we do tonight, what we decided to do a couple of months ago, because the demand was so great, to have the instant response kinds of advice show, because people would wander in during the What the Fuck Tuesday thinking they could ask a question like they can tonight and get an answer. And, of course, the answer is no. These are all submitted prior to the show. So on tonight's show, you can ask a question in one of two ways. You can either, well, listen, here's how it works. Okay, here's how it works. So you do the super chat through YouTube, or you do a Cash App fee if you're on some other platform or you don't want to be bothered with YouTube. $10, that's US dollars. Then you add your name to the chat so everybody knows, that you're ready. When the person before you or the letter that I'm reading before you is over, I will look in the chat stream and then I will call your name or display your question across the screen. So we'll let you know when you're next. Now, if you're not a fast typer, which most of you aren't, the ideal way to do this is to prepare your question in advance by putting it into, like, I don't know, an email, a Word document, WordPad, something, so you can just highlight it and then copy it into the stream chat. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that and you think it'll be easier for you, you can, just dial in the number through your cell phone. I will provide you with the link, and you can then use that to just talk. Just you'll be able to talk to me and tell me your question, and then I'll respond to it after I hear it. I may have some follow up question or whatever, but so if either way, you can either type it in if you want to be, if you're shy, you don't want people to hear your voice or whatever. But if your question is kind of detailed and there may be some, other follow up questions that I need to answer, then please call in to the studio. That's the studio URL right there. You just hit that link on your cell phone or your computer, laptop, tablet, whatever you're using. As long as it's connected to the internet, it will bring you to the backstage of this platform, and then we can respond to your question, okay? What's happening? Yes, yes. I have some vino tonight. It's been a rough week, y'all just don't even know. Sister just like, whoa, out. So in my lovely cup, I got some new dishes, and this is the coffee cup that goes to them. Yes, honey, this year, see, Silver Screen Believes is like on my page. It's like, oof, I can't wait for this year to be over. Let's move on, hopefully, to something bigger and better. But I do have, let me see how many questions I have. I think 10. I have 10 questions for those while you guys get your thoughts together. I'm going to start with these that were, already sent in, or that there's two of them I pulled from my Quora page and people sent to me. And I didn't answer them yet. I wanted to answer them here. Then I'll just type on there what I said here. Okay, so let's start with question number 1. This young lady wants to know why men think communicating our thoughts and feelings means that we're looking for a fight. I'm trying to improve my communication skills, but it can be so mentally draining when you are constantly shut down because you're, quote, starting a fight. I am genuinely trying to communicate my thoughts and feelings to improve the relationship. I don't like fighting. It seems like I am talking but not being heard, and everything I say or do is, quote, looking for a fight, no matter how I word the sentence. How can I expect myself to keep trying at this point? When men, seriously, if you have felt this way about current or past relationships, please tell me what this mindset and another approach. Well, we don't have too many men here, but I mean a few, but most of your answers are going to be from women. So I would think a better way to phrase this is to ask them if they were in a similar situation, what they did, and how they handled it. Since you're asking me and I'm giving my responses, I'm going to say I don't deal with nobody like this. You like starting a fight. That's basically telling you that I don't want to hear what you're talking about. I'm not trying to hear you. I'm not trying to hear you. You irritating me. It's a shutdown move. It's a power move. So he, by saying that you're trying to start a fight, can shut the door and not listen to what it is that that's bothering you, that you want to work on to improve the relationship. You want things to be better. You want these problems that you're feeling, this frustration, this angst, whatever, to be ironed out so you guys can move forward without this problem. But he's not trying to hear that though. So usually when you have a guy who does this kind of stuff, what's involved, his ego is involved. He feels like anything that you say that you want changed or different or that you don't like is an indictment of him, and that is a personal attack, and it means he's not good. He's not good enough. He doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, they personalize it like that. When you have a person who does that kind of thing, that person has very low self-esteem. A person with high self-esteem can listen to someone's, critique of their behavior, because that behavior that you're doing, the things that you're saying, the way that you're operating is hurting them. It's embarrassing them. It's, causing them frustration or upset. And if you really love that person, you're going to hear what they have to say. You may not agree. You guys may work out a compromise. They want something, you say no, but I'll do this, and then it's an agreement that you two work out, but it still makes it better. When they do this kind of stuff, like she's writing in right here, they completely shut down everything. So I'm going to tell you this, and you probably don't want to hear it. When you're trying to communicate to someone who's not trying to hear you, who doesn't want to hear you, who doesn't care what you're saying, who doesn't care what you think, there's no point, there's nothing here. There's no relationship. Basically, what you are and what you have to accept, and I know it's going to be hard for you, is that he has you around just enough so he can tap that ass. That's it, and that's all. So as soon as you get tired of beating your head up against the wall, just leave him, because you're never going to get what you want from this man. He he just doesn't have it in him to give you. He's too wrapped up in the fact that he thinks he's perfect just the way he is, and anything that you say that makes him feel like he's not perfect, he's going to reject in you, because then you make him, in his, I'm not saying it's true, I'm saying in his mind, you make him feel bad. You make him feel like he's not good enough. So, a lot of women just go along with that, though. They just shut up and they just tolerate it because they're keeping a relationship. Shay, are you back yet? I didn't think you'd be here tonight. Um, I felt bad because she was on vacation and she still showed up. I'm like, oh my God, my girl. But you guys, young lady, there's not too much you can do with this unless you want to live a life of never being heard and never being what you feel being acknowledged. You're upset being validated by your partner and being viewed as important. It's not going to happen. Hate to tell you that, but that's essentially what this means. So you have to decide if you want to keep beating your head against the wall or you're going to let it go. You have to decide that, but that's my recommendation, that you let it go, because you're just going to stay frustrated. He's never going to change to be the man that you want him to be, okay? And he's grown, so that's just it. So here's the URL again for those of you who may want to call in your question and just, talk it out. That's actually easier for me because, reading on the screen, if you don't type fast, and then typically people don't really have enough characters to really, say what the problem is anyway with any depth. So that usually works out better. So, just think about that. If you have a question that's been burning in your brain, the problem that you've been having in your relationship, your partner said something, you don't understand what he said, and he did something, you don't understand what that means. This is the show for that. $10 and you'll get your answer. You'll leave this show with an answer. Okay, so you can stop worrying about it, stop missing sleep, stop stressing about it, because I'll give you an answer. And I've been doing this for 30, almost 31, almost 32 years. So I have a lot of experience. I can come up with answers off the top of my head that are pretty thorough. Not all the time, but it depends on what the question is. because I've been thrown a couple of curveballs and people have some, like, I'm like, what? But in general, um, I can give a pretty thorough answer, and then the answer is also augmented by what the audience, the viewers say here in the chat room. So you get um, a good round answer. Yes, the squad. Everybody was wishing you happy birthday, Shay. It's like we would sing, but the only person you'd be able to hear is me, and so no, not happening. I'm not trying to embarrass myself like that. So that was question number one. I have 10 here. So if y'all don't all have a question, this is gonna be a short show. I just want you to know. I'm just gonna do 10 to 10. So you can type your question in there. $10 on Cash App is Debsterism, or through Superchat, either one. It's US dollars, by the way, if you're in Canada or somewhere in the UK. We get people from South Korea, I mean, all over. So it's $10 US dollars, and then we'll respond to your question. Yes, I want to see more pictures. I guess I'm going to go stalk your Insta so I can see them. Okay, y'all. While I was on Instagram before the show, and I was like, while I was waiting in traffic because the traffic was at a standstill. That's why I was almost late. So I'm sitting there, right, because it was an accident, and you know how the Highway Patrol has to come through on the guideline, what they call it, the emergency lanes, and cut in, and then they start trying to weed, smash people into like one lane to get around. Oh, it was a nightmare. So I didn't think I was going to be here in time. I thought I was going to get here about 6:15, but I actually made it, on time. I was shocked. But that was my evening. So while I was sitting there waiting for the Highway Patrol to come and start moving the traffic, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I never laughed so hard. Instagram, and people are just stupid. I just cannot believe some of the stuff. I saw this one where the dude was, these two guys were on a golf course, and some wild turkeys started chasing them, and two other golfers were filming it. It was hilarious seeing them run from these wild turkeys, and the turkey was like, "Get him, let's get this punk, get this motherfucker." And then, you could just like dub it and see the attitude that the turkeys had because they was ganging up on it. It was hilarious. But see, that's the kind of stuff I watch. I'm just so easily entertained. It's just too funny. So let's move on. We got the second of 10 questions here. Do you believe in the saying that, quote, people make time for who they want, end quote? I firmly believe in this because I know I would make time to see or call someone that I like, but I'm curious to see what you and the squad think. Um, I used to think that, and it's true to a point, but as we get older, the realities of life and the responsibilities that we have to employers, to especially at my age, you start taking care of aging parents that you gotta like help them at home, or put them in a home or something because you can't handle it. I mean, your life starts to change and different things. It depends on where you are, in the stage of development. But in general, yes, but it's not a hard and fast rule. People have the realities and the weight of life. Some people, because of the COVID stuff, had to take on a second job. They lost their primary job, or their hours were seriously cut. So they had to get a second job. So now they're working like a full-time job and a part-time job, or two full-time jobs, and they only have minimal time to sleep and rest between jobs. So these are hard times that we're living in right now. These are really hard. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I used to believe in that too, but I have to accept that things have changed in the last 3 or 4 years, and economically, a lot of times of course we don't want to. We would love to be able to have dates and party and just hang out and relax and watch Netflix and do all this kind of stuff, but you had to take a different job at a lower salary because you got laid off from your other one. The company closed because all kinds of stuff has happened to people, all kinds of stuff. Some had to move in with parents, or two families are sharing a home, so all the girls in one room, all the boys in one room, and the parents each have a room. All kinds of people have made all kinds of concessions in their lives. So I wouldn't put too much faith on that. All I'm going to tell you is my bottom line golden rule about relationships. If the person is not giving you the relationship that you feel that you need or deserve, then you just leave them alone. It's real simple. You're not married, right? You're not married, so you don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe them any kind of loyalty or to stay with them in spite of all this stuff. You don't owe anyone that. So you just keep moving, keep moving. But I do want to, like I said, I just want to let you know that, yeah, I used to agree with you 100%, but I don't. I have to accept that it's kind of an individual thing. You have to look at that person's situation and circumstances and then make a judgment then after that. But if they just got a regular job or they a student or something and, you know, they carrying like 12 units and they got all this other free time to go party and all this kind of stuff, but they don't be spending it with you, well, then there's a clear, a clear sign that what you're saying is right. But just like I said, judges, all of you listening, judge this on an individual basis. If you got somebody working two full-time jobs, then, oh, I saw something. Okay, I'll get to you in a second. You got somebody working two full-time jobs and it's only 24 hours in a day. So they only got, about 7 hours to get some rest. So they're going to be, with brushing their teeth and eating and stuff, 6 hours of sleep maybe every night, 5 nights a week. That person may not have much time for you. So just take time and think about it. Let's see what she's talking about. After watching your videos in live over the past couple of years, I was able to find an answer to my relationship question and make a good decision. I could hear your voice in my head. Thank you. A lot of people say that. Actually, it's become like a thing here on the show. They say it's WWDD. What would Deb do? And I don't know who coined that a couple of years ago. Um, but that's become like a popular thing, the phrase and questions and stuff. What would Deb do? And so a lot of women have said that they think about what they've heard and the lessons that they've learned, and they're in a situation and it sounds familiar. It sounds like something that was in a video, something we discussed, and then they start thinking about it and they're like, oh no, I'm here, this is real. What am I supposed to do? What would Deb do? And then they do that thing. So good job. Good job. Okay, crazy giggles. Giggles over there. Giggles be instigating. Just instigating. Hey, Ash, what's happening? Yeah, so I don't know. That's a hard one. Okay, that's a hard one. Anybody got a question? Thank you, Sliver. I keep threatening to do that. I thought of a real good saying today, but I'm not going to tell you because in case I do finally get around to putting my merch together. Because I have so many videos. YouTube has rules about that. You can't get a store through them if you have too many, like, I don't want to say X-rated, but like videos that they don't want to run ads on because of the language or the subject matter or something. So I can't get a store through them. I have to get one through some external resource, and then I guess I could just link to it or something. But um, yeah, I had looked into it and then I had to do the designs and I don't know. Then I had my issue in March and it was down and out for 6 months. So, things just got really behind and just one of them things. Okay, here we go. What's Miss Giggles got to say? When I think what would Deb do, I usually end up cussing somebody out. That is what Deb would do. 90% of the time, that's what I would do. You're right. Because, even if I don't use exact profanity, they going to get told. And you know what I found today? And you know what I found is with men, they may not like it when you telling them off, but at least they respect you. And this is something I think a lot of women don't understand. This guy, I saw him today, right? This dude that we had an issue. I used to work with him, right? I haven't seen him for years. And I happened to see his ass today in downtown Oakland. And he was just all smiles and all friendly and telling me how great I looked and all this stuff. And I didn't look a bum. I had myself fixed up when I was down. But I'm looking at him because I'm thinking about the time. And we was, I said we was working together at this particular moment. I lit his ass up. He did something I don't like. I forgot what it was now. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, I had a deadline. I had something that I had to get done. And so I gave everybody who needed to give me information for it until Thursday. I was going to put in this order, right? So everybody's supposed to give me their order by Thursday. So I said, I'm going to put the order in before 5 o'clock on Thursday. On Friday, this motherfucker sends me an email talking about he wants to add, he wants to put some stuff in the order. And I'm like, okay, I said have the order in by Thursday. What are you doing? Well, I didn't see the email. I said, but you claimed you was working at home all week. So why didn't you see the email? What was you doing instead of working? This is in the email, right? We going back and forth. And so then he's like, well, I don't like your tone. And I said, well, I don't like the fact that you ignored my command. I said Thursday. This is Friday. So guess what? I'm not putting an order in for you. So you just gonna have to figure it out yourself. I'm not gonna be bothered. I lit him up. I said, and then he's talking about, well, your tone. I was like, well, guess what? The cause of my tone is your arrogance and thinking that you can just have me do what you want me to do. I have a schedule here, and you're gonna adhere to it. Otherwise, you just miss out. So whoever you needed the stuff, it's just too bad. You're gonna have to tell them that they're not gonna get it until next month when I put in another order. That's how this works. Well, no, we need it now. I said, well, you're not gonna get it now. That's just the way it is. So we went back and forth, and I told him, he talked about my attitude and stuff. He's African, right? Like, I don't give a shit about all of that. You're gonna do what I tell you to do, because I'm the one who's putting in the order. That means I have the power. He did not like that. So then he CC'd like his boss, my boss. I mean, like 977 people got his response. So here come my boss calling me in. Right, I could tell she didn't give a shit. Right, so she's sitting there and she's like, because I know she told me she was gonna talk to me. Right, so I'm sitting there and she's like looking at this paper and she's taking notes and reading and stuff. And she's like, honey, you can't talk to these people like that because they can't handle it. I said, I know, but I really don't care. And so then she's like, I know you don't care. This is supposed to be my admonishment conversation, right? This is how we talking to each other. And so she's like, well, it would have been nice. I mean, couldn't you have used some other language? I said, yeah, I probably could have. But in that moment, you have to understand this is like the third thing that he's did. So it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. And so I just had to light him up right quick because he needs to understand he don't run me. He does not run me. If any, I'm not trying to run him either, but you're gonna do what I need you to do on the time frame that I tell you to do it. Otherwise, it's just not gonna happen. That's just like when you're raising a child. You say, if you don't do them dishes and you don't do your homework, I'm taking your Xbox. And then they don't do the homework and don't wash the dishes, and you take the Xbox and they be acting all shocked and appalled and showing the Pikachu face. And so she started laughing. Right, she's supposed to be like I said, she's supposed to be admonishing me. She's well, Miss Deb, you just can't talk to the people like that. They just can't handle it. I said, okay, I'll do better. Thank you. And that was it. So I guess they thought I was going to get all kind of chewed out and all this kind of stuff. She was like, fuck that motherfucker. But she didn't say that, but that was her general, demeanor. So I'm like, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But see, when I saw him, because when that went down, we didn't talk for like a year or so. And then when I saw him, he was like all smiles and just all cutesy wootsy and just all friendly and shit. So that's what I want to tell you guys. You ladies, when your relationships and whatever else you do, you always think that you need to quote be nice. Be a fucking bitch. Don't let nobody take advantage of you, violate your boundaries, or treat you any old kind of way. You check the motherfuckers and you check them hard. So you don't do that. And so like I said, so now he's like, oh yeah, hi. I'm like, oh, how your kids doing? Your son in college? It's like, yeah, he's doing, we just having all this regular chit chat. But before that, I was an evil broom riding witch in his mind. I'm like, yeah, whatever, nigga. What the fuck ever. So, I just giving that as an example to show you, no matter where you are, work, your private life, whatever, you have to have a real firm idea of what you will and will not tolerate. And I don't give a fuck who it is. You have to, just stand your ground and have your boundaries and don't give in and forget that you ever even could spell the word nice. Okay. You make people respect you. They don't have to like you, but they do have to respect you. Because, I'm not at work trying to make friends. I got friends in my private life. What I do want to do is get my paycheck, and I don't want no bullshit from you or nobody else. And so, folks have to get taught. Here we go. I've avoided poverty. Good for you. Nagging me good, dusty homosexuals and nosy people. Disown some raggedy friends, relatives, and much more. Living a soft and juicy life with no regrets. Finally found a bass in my voice. Girl, tell it. That's what I'm trying to say. People be like, what you talk about when you talk about bass in your voice? It's like, you know how most women talk all squeaky and high and, oh my God, this and that and blah, blah, blah. And they sound like whiny little kids. Oh, no, 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 no. Have you guys ever, she's been dead a long time, this actress called Lauren Bacall. She was married to Humphrey Bogart. They stayed together forever. But she had kind of a sultry, low voice. I don't think in any of her roles she ever raised her voice. I mean, she may have in real life, who knows? But I'm just talking about the Lauren Bacall that we know. She wasn't that cute, but she just had something. But the way that she would talk to people, that's how you need to do. It's like, oh yeah, well, this and that, blah blah blah. You don't ever have to yell. You don't have to scream. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to get shrill. You don't have to do nothing. So you can talk, and I'm gonna cuss you out in this tone of voice right here. Look, you trifling two-bit piece of shit motherfucker. I don't know who you think you talking to. Notice that my voice changed? It's the same as if I'm saying hello, good afternoon, Merry Christmas. It's exactly the same tone of voice. The reason I have adopted that, let me explain this too. See, I'm telling you all my secrets. I dated this guy who was very auditory. I mean, he's more auditory than me, and it was just kind of a nightmare because I'm very noise or voice and noises and stuff. I can't stand weird sounds. But he was more auditory than me. So what I noticed is if I yelled at him, he shut down. He didn't listen. He couldn't hear me. But if I talked like this and said, when you did this and that, I didn't like that shit. And blah, 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 blah. He would hear every word I said. So long as I didn't yell, he would hear me. If I raised my voice, I don't know, he would just shut down. I think it was more of fear or something like from his childhood. I never asked him. But so I learned that. And that really works with most men. If you don't yell and you just talk to them in a regular tone of voice or even lower your voice an octave or two, then they hear you better. And they can hear every word you say. It's like, what are you doing? Don't ever do that to me again or you're going to die. Do you understand me? I will chop your head off. I will go to your house where your mama is, and then your whole family will be deceased. That's what's going to happen. Let's notice the tone of voice I'm saying it in. So they listen. So you start screaming, I'm going to die, they shut down. So that's what I learned, and I'm just sharing that with you. Since most men they like to say that they're very visual, and I suppose they are too, but they're also very auditory. And so that's why they like, certain voices, um, certain music, certain sounds. Some guys could hear dripping faucets. This guy I'm talking about worked as a foreign car mechanic, and he could tell what was wrong with somebody's car by listening to it idle. That's how auditory this man was. It was scary. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. So you check out your dudes when you start getting with them. Is he a feeling type of dude? Is he an auditory type of dude? Or is he a more visual type of dude? My cousin's very visual. They can have so much noise going on in that house, it just makes me, I have to go sit in my car to just escape. Or I create an errand I got to go on. They had the music going, the vacuum cleaner going, people shouting, the TV on too, like in a different room or something, and everybody talking at the same time. It's just too much. It's just too much. There's too many sounds for me. And I find myself getting really nervous. But it don't bother them because they're there into what things look like. It's real interesting when you're in a crowd and you observe that. So yeah, it's very interesting. Something, I've been kind of studying it for 25 years or so. Just being in different environments and watching how people respond to noises, voice tones, and stuff like that. It's real interesting. But yeah, I've learned that works better. You did dancing. Well, what's your question? Do you want to type it in or you want to call it in? You know what? Out of all of that, who forgot their phone? What an idiot. See, I was rushing. Because I usually have my phone here. I got you dancing up. Dancing. Well, what is that? Dancing top, I guess that's supposed to be an acronym for. And I'm looking for your question if you're going to type it in. Otherwise, here's the link, and you can just call it in, and I'll respond to it, right here on the air. Merry Christmas. Giggles. You know what? See, all the turkeys is mad at Giggles because she done totally passed their holiday and she on to St. Nick. She's like, oh, forget you, Turkey Day. I already been shopping the Black Friday specials. You know, they have the pre-Black Friday specials now. They be trying to get your money the whole month of November. So I'm like, that's fine. So I ordered a couple of things. Not a lot. Not a lot. I don't really have a lot of money yet. I'm still trying to play catch up from them 6 months when I didn't have any income. So I'm waiting for who am I waiting for? Hmm. Oh yeah, dancing. Dancing. Where's your question, sweetie? You too, Shay? Yes, girl. But I've been an online shopper since the 90s when they used to have e-toys. I don't know if y'all remember that site. They used to have e-toys. And I used to order from there for my daughter. I was like an early adopter of internet shopping. I hated when they went because they used to have toys from like handmade things from like the Netherlands and Denmark or whatever. I mean, it was just beautiful stuff. We still have a lot of that stuff made from wood, handmade wooden toys that were so unique and just beautiful. So I love those things. Let's see what she says here. Yes, it does help because so many parents fall down on the job um, and just leave their daughters hanging. It's just awful. Where's Dancing's question at? Dancing, are you gonna type it in here or are you gonna just call? If you guys have a question, that's the URL to well the link rather, so you can just say it here on the air. I'll respond to your question. Have my headset all plugged in. Here it is right here. I'm ready. Or you can type it in the chat room. I mean, chat, in the chat. Either way. So while we wait for Dancing, who has already paid her little fee, I'm going to move on to question of the thing. You click this link. See that link right there? You just click that on your phone or tablet or laptop or whatever, and then you'll appear here, and then I'll pick up your call. You don't need to like call on a phone. Oops, excuse me. You don't need to call on a phone. It's a URL that goes right here to the backstage here. What you say? Who want to try? I never try on clothes in the store. I take my stuff, and then if it don't fit, I just take it back. But because I want to try it on with like the shoes, the jacket that I think is gonna, or sweater, or whatever. If it's a bottom, I want to try it on with the top that I think is gonna go. I want to get the complete look before I know if it's something that I want to keep. But so I never try on stuff in the store, ever, never. Did you get that? Dancing? You see the link there? Just click that. So while we wait for you, I'm going to do question number 3. Does dating differ from friendship? I believe that friendship can lead to both parties to become husband and wife. That's it? That's your question? Child, friendship is not the same as dating. I mean, you're friends, you're going to hang out with somebody and stuff, but you know what the difference is? With friends, you don't feel any romantic interest, no passion. There's no heat. That's just somebody that you like. That's somebody whose company you enjoy. You enjoy laughing and going places with them, and talking to them, and stuff like that. But if it becomes the thing where you can imagine yourself getting busy with them, that vision becomes exploded in your head. It's like, oh no, that will never happen. That's how you know that that person is in the friend zone. Now, if you have a friend that you have mixed feelings for, well, then you might have a point. But you didn't say that. You said friend. Now, you can have male friends, you can have female friends. If you wouldn't get busy with your female friends, then you shouldn't be thinking about your male friends in that way either. A friend is a friend, period. No matter their gender. Even like dog is man's best friend. Okay, you gonna get busy with your puppy? I mean, what? What are you talking about? This doesn't even make any sense. So if you have something, you trying to hide behind friendship because you really like this person and you just using the friendship thing as a cloak and shield, well then yeah, that's another thing. But that's you're being disingenuous with it, something like that, and you're being fraudulent. So just admit that you like the person and let's get this show on the road, okay? But saying that you're going to be friends and it's going to lead to you being husband and wife, that's some delirious talk, especially for women. If we put you in the friend zone, there shall you stay. Don't think you coming out. You better go get your jollies met somewhere else. I have never wanted to get busy with anybody who I decided was just a friend. I mean, I enjoy their company and all that kind of stuff, but it's like when it comes to that, that no, I cannot imagine. And like I tell all of my guy friends, I'm the same way with girls. It's like if you're my female friend and I'm not gonna get busy with you, and you're my male friend, I'm not gonna get busy with you either. It's the same thing. Friend to me, a friend is a friend, and those who are not are not. So here is the URL again. I'm still waiting for dancing. You still trying to get in? What the heck is going on? Are you clicking the link there? You should be able to click it from the chat stream. Girl, and PETA ain't no joke. Peter, however you say that name, they ain't no joke. I remember back in the 90s when they was splashing people's fur coats with red paint and stuff and ruining $20,000 or $30,000 fur coats with some paint. I thought, okay, these people are crazy, rather extreme. Yeah, if you the YouTube chat stream, you should be able to just click that link and it should be live for you. I'm not understanding what's the problem, but let us. You connect to the internet, right? You got to have a good internet connection, and then it should, be a live link. Of course she is, because she's doing. Yeah, she's watching the show. Okay, let's move on to question number 4 while we wait. So I went on this date with a dude. I'm 20, he's 22. Some facts are that he works full time while I'm still in college. We went out to a restaurant together, and when the check came, I said, I'll Venmo you my half. I think it's like $12. He then pulled out a calculator and said it's actually 12.88, and then pulled out his Venmo on his phone for me to add and pay him. I have no problem paying, but this still felt weird. And then we left the restaurant. He hasn't texted me since. We also seemed a bit withdrawn on the date and kept checking his phone, but that also could have been him just being awkward. Am I right to assume he's not interested? Oh, absolutely. By the time he told you 12.88, you should have already known that. Okay. And really, I mean, really, by the time you would have somebody and they keep checking their phone and all and not really seeming engaged, that was him. He's already checked out. What you really should have done, if you noticed he was being like that, is saying, "Well, I can tell that you're really not interested, so let's not waste each other's time." And then and each other's $12, and then get up and just go back home. See, this is exactly why I like to do coffee dates for the first date. You be in and the fuck up and out for a couple of dollars at the most, depending on where you go. And I wouldn't mind paying my own because, like I said, I love coffee. But they also have tea and sometimes they have smoothies. I mean, they have other stuff that you can have. You don't have to be coffee, but it's just the concept of what I'm talking about, a drink, a beverage, and then you're gone. This is exactly why. So all this stuff that she had to go through, all these feelings of rejection and, why did he treat me like that? And oh my God, he wasn't paying attention to me and he was on his phone. So all of that you eliminated because you're only there for 20 minutes anyway. You have a bunch of basic bullshit chit chat And then you'd be like, oh, look at the time, and you'd be up and out. See, this is exactly what I be trying to tell y'all. This kind of stuff right here. So now she's gonna be going, look at all this angst and confusion and stuff that she has because she was on a dinner date with some clown that she didn't even have to be with. I don't know. And then you got all these hungry bitches be talking about, well, he need to take me to dinner. He need to feed me. I'm my value. If you base your value on what a complete stranger feeds you, something's wrong with you. Okay, you don't really have any value. You're looking for other people to give you a definition of your value based on how much they spend on you, which means you have extremely low self-esteem and no sense of who you are. You don't define yourself by what other people do. Okay, because that's the key word, self-esteem, not other people's esteem. So every woman who's ever said that, I just give them the side eye and just know that they stupid because I mean, it would be one thing if they said they would prefer that, but to say that he must do that because that's your associated with your sense of value, that lets me know that there's something wrong with them. Okay, here we go. Let's see what she's saying here. Was there something? Wait, did I miss some? Oh yeah, okay. That sounds like that sounds like it's coming in the middle. How long should I wait to sleep with a man who is giving me crazy chemistry in every way? It's me, not him. He is being a perfect gentleman. Okay, let me go down and see this part. It's been a month, but we talk every day, most of the day. We date as much as possible, and I just enjoy being around each other. I'm not trying to move too fast, but it is hard. Okay, so now I see what the question is now. I'm going to say, this is my thing here. Do not let your lower brain make a choice in a man for you. It's great that you guys talk every day, but what you talking about? Okay, so y'all exchanged a bunch of words. What does it mean? What are you doing? What have you learned about him as a person? How does he think about controversial issues? How does he think about women? What are his values? What are his morals? What are his goals? What's his history? These are all the things that you need to know and have a real clear idea on before you start dropping them panties. Because the thing about it is, especially with young women, you start sleeping with a dude, you're gonna get attached to him. When you old like me, you don't give a fuck. It's like, oh, another dick. Yeah, yay. I mean, it's different. When you're young, you still have a lot of visions of family fantasies and happily ever after. And you want that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying we come at it from a different perspective. So I'm cautioning you to think, about what you really do know about this man. You get caught up in the fact that he's cute and you're attracted to him, but what kind of man is he really over the long term? How does he fit with you? If all of those things are a go, and you're not gonna know that in just a month, okay? You're not gonna know that in just a month. So you need to slow this down. I'm glad he's taking his time. And you wait another month or so until you get the answer to these questions I'm telling you. Watch the video called The Man Behind the Mask. It gives you some really good ideas for the kind of stuff that you should be asking him and, stuff that you should be listening for. Everything is not going to come as an answer to a question that you ask. A lot of it's going to be through observation. You're going to be listening to his stories. You're going to be seeing what matches up. You're going to be interpreting what behaviors he exhibited in various situations and what that behavior means. And does it pass your test or not? Is it something you're like, yeesh, why he do that? That kind of stuff. Pay attention to those moments. Because, it might be something that, just your personal preference. It's not really anything critical, but it might be something that's really kind of a black mark against your own personal values and morals and stuff. You need to pay attention to those kind of things. So it's great that you guys had a fire. That's wonderful. That's always a good start. But it's good that you slowed, anyway, that he's taking his time because you sound like you would have just jumped dude's bones regardless. But I don't want you to do that. You got to handle the whole reason why we're on this channel is to teach you how to handle yourself with men in a way that is in your best interest. Okay, it's great you had a heat, but what else is there? How does this man mesh with you? What does he offer you? What benefit is he going to bring to your life? And it don't have to be money. I'm not talking about that. A lot of it, emotional support, continuity, uh, I don't know, accountability, responsibility. Somebody you could really count on, somebody got your back and through thick and thin. I mean, what kind of man is he? You're not gonna find it out in a month, okay? So slow your roll, girlfriend. Slow your roll, and start asking some serious questions and doing your Inspector Clouseau observations and figure out what's really going on with dude. Is everything he's saying, all his stories matching up? If there's some discrepancies and shit, then you need to investigate further. So, I mean, it's great y'all talking and all this kind of stuff, but just check, just wait. There's no rush, okay? There's no rush. I mean, you can get it by the time you get it. You all can get it all every day, all day, and for a week or straight to catch up on what you missed. But just slow your roll and make sure that this is a good fit for you, okay? We have to do things differently as we mature. What we might have done at 19 or 20, we should not still be doing at 27, 28 years old. You should have changed your approach. You should have grown and learned from your mistakes and from those of people around you. And so you don't do what they do. I mean, you might make mistakes, but they should at least be new ones. Okay. And you here to learn. So heed my word. Like I said, turn on your observation eyeballs and then start thinking about the stories he told you. Shit match up, dates match up, people match up, what's going on. And then you ask questions and you get answers. Okay. That's what you need to do. What's she talking about? Yeah. That's I think how most people do. Well, I mean, most women who have some sense. You got that dude, and when y'all have a serious relationship or something, he go his way and you go yours. But um, and you at least like and respect each other, and that always works out well. So, but if you just you don't want to just have somebody that you have chemistry with and you don't really understand what's motivating this guy, what's his driving forces. You have to understand that to make sure you guys are on the same page and not your mind's not clouded by lust. Okay? It's very important. So let me give this other person a response. This is question number 5. Like I said, I only got 10 of these. So if y'all don't be having some questions, this is going to be a short show. On Friday, I went to dinner and the movies with a guy, and I had a good time with him. When he dropped me off, he kept trying to invite himself inside my apartment. I kept telling him no for a whole hour. He eventually drove off, but he was really mad. Would you say that this is a red flag? Would you reach out to a guy that you haven't heard from because he got mad at you because you wouldn't invite him inside your place to cuddle at 1 a.m.? It was 1 a.m. and he was trying to come in your house to cuddle? You did right, but what you're supposed to do is say, look, get away from my door. I already told you no. If you insist on this, I'm going to call 911. That's what you should have said. When a man, okay, let me just go over this again. Now, how many times do I have to say this? How many times do I have to say this? Okay. Young ladies, heed my words. A man wants you to do something. You say no. It doesn't matter what it is. He wants you to go somewhere. He wants you to cut your hair. He wants you to dye your hair. He wants you to get surgery. He wants you to eat something that you don't want to eat. He wants to take you someplace you don't want to go. He wants you to hang around people that you can't fucking stand. Anything that he wants and you don't want it and you say no, the only thing that's supposed to come out of his mouth after that is okay. If he says anything else, like why not? Oh, come on. Well, I'm a nice guy. You don't want to do anything. You just don't want to try anything that he says after you say no. He's trying to coerce you, convince you, manipulate you, or control you into doing what he wants to do. That is an instant red flag, and for that motherfucker should get dismissed from your world on the spot. You guys don't even realize how disrespectful that is. He's trying to make you do what the fuck he wants you to do versus what you want to do. Is your time, is your house, is your money, is your body, is your life. And he's trying to teach you to do something that you don't want to do after you said no. Y'all just a whole hour. He was the second time when I had to say no, he would become, and I cuss loud. He would have been every kind of motherfucker I could have thought of because I said no, god damn it, get the fuck away from my door. Don't call me, lose my number, eat shit and die. All of that would have come out of my mouth plus more. So, but you gonna sit there and argue with him for a whole hour? What's wrong with you? That's why he thought he was getting some leeway because you didn't just shut the door in his face and just go on with your life and say, look, you stupid. You don't even understand no. What is it? N-O-K-N-O-W, motherfucker, both. Nada. What is it in Chinese? I can't remember. I learned it in Korean and a whole bunch of other languages. I learned no. But it's like, what is this? For an hour? Oh my God. But so many women don't understand that that's disrespect. You don't get it that when you say no about anything that you don't want to do, and he comes back with one word other than okay, that's a fucking wrap. As far as I'm concerned, get rid of him. Because that's just the beginning. He's going to always be pressuring you to do what he wants you to do. And most of you will give in if they press you enough, and that's why they keep doing it. That's been his experience, that the other women always gave in. That's why he kept hammering you. That's why I tell y'all. So y'all, a lot of y'all can't even do the shit with your own kids. Your kids bug you to fuck out of you, and you say, okay, to them. And you're the same way with men. And then you wonder why you don't get mistreated. And you wonder why your kids are so fucking bad and don't nobody want to be bothered with them. You have to have a damn spine. Okay? When you say no, mean it. If you say, I'm not doing that, carry it through. If you say, if you cross this boundary right here, we're done here, sir, then you do that. You don't say, oh, well, I guess I'll give you another chance. You just taught him that you don't mean the shit to what you're saying, and he can get away with murder. That's the same shit you do with your kids. You say, I'll beat your little ass if you do this and that. I'll take this and that. And then they do it, and what do? Oh, well, you need to apologize to mommy. Your kids know you just a little punk. They're not going to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? It's just the truth. I mean, this is it. It's like if you have that mentality of giving in to people, then please don't think that they're ever going to respect you. They're never going to respect you because you don't even respect yourself enough to support your own no. So why the hell do you think anybody else is supposed to respect you when you don't respect yourself? They're going to treat you the way that you treat yourself. If you treat yourself well, they will too because they know that they can't get away with it. But you sit up there and you just do, argue with somebody for an hour about them coming into your house. Ooh, I don't even know where they do that at. I'm just like, I just can't believe it. And he's going to go away mad and you're going to ask him, should you reach out to him? Block that motherfucker. Have you lost your mind? If you reach out to him, he's going to know he's got it. What? I don't even understand how you even think that. Somebody treated you like that and you supposed to call him back. Is he the only motherfucking with the dick in the world in your town or something? What the hell? Girl, if you don't get your shit straight, and here you got to pay $10 and get cussed out, but that $10 well spent because you just acting stupid right now, and I'm not liking this. I'm not feeling you at all. This makes no sense. Didn't your parents teach you better than this? I guess not. No means no. Okay? You stick to that. My goodness. As an aside, Trader Joe's has their southern green bags of southern greens back. They do it for the holiday season. I went and got me 2 bags so I can make me some greens this weekend. I hate all that picking and all that stuff, so I just buy the bags of greens. I'm lazy. Well, he doesn't sound crazy. He's just a typical guy. Typical guy. Even if they don't do it for an hour, they all do it. Or at least they'll try it. They'll think about it. If they kind of judge that you're the kind of woman who's going to mean her no, then they won't do it. But since most women give in if put under enough pressure, because y'all just be tripping, I don't know what's wrong with you, then most of these guys have learned that if they just ask you enough time, ask you enough or enough different ways and enough different times, that you'll eventually give in. And that's why they keep hammering you. Yeah, time to block them. But the problem with her is he knows where she lives, which is a concern to me because she didn't really handle this well. I'll let some clown know where you live and pick you up, but you can't get there on your own. I always drive my car. The only person I let pick me up is Ken. And you know how many years it took for us to get to that point where I could trust him to come to my house and pick me up? Probably about 6, 7, something like that. You know, at this point, we've been friends like 25 years. So now, you know, he comes pick up. He even has the key to my house for emergency purposes. That's how much I trust him. But it took decades for me to get to that point. I'm not going to trust everybody. I'm not going to trust you right away. Ooh, why am I coughing? Yeah, so you guys watch that. What seriously listen to what I'm saying. You with a dude, he says, "Oh, I want you to do this. I want you to wear that. I want you to change this about yourself, or do this, intimate thing," and you say no, and he says anything else after that except for okay or okay, babe, or I hear you, all right, something like that. Something that shows that he's listening to what you said. If he says anything else other than that, deuce out. Because that's a man who doesn't respect you at all. He just sees you as a tool to use to get. Because if he really respected you and he was afraid of offending you and not getting with you, he would shut up. But the fact that he opens his mouth and keeps talking means he's not afraid to lose you. He's more focused on what he wants to get from you. When a guy is really like he wants that woman to think highly of him and to know that he respects her and he will treat her well, he's gonna shut the fuck up like whoop boop and be quiet. Because he don't want her to leave or have any negative opinion of him. So you guys ought to understand what that means. Okay? He's not afraid to lose you. He's not afraid of you being upset at him. He don't give a shit. You're there to fill a need that he has, and it's usually something sexual. I just wish more young women, would understand that. It's just such a key point, just a pivotal thing in relationships. And it usually happens really early, and they just totally miss it. They just ignore it and say, well, I said no, and then, he kept asking me, and then so I had to keep saying no, and it just so we were just arguing, then we had to fight, and so then I finally gave in. Yeah. I said, I will die saying no. I learned that from my mother. Ooh, that lady, man. She, oh, we learned as kids real quick. If my mother said no, you could go to your grave and know that it was going to still be no. If she said, I'll think about it, or maybe you could keep hope alive. And then, of course, if she said yes, then it was go. But, I'm telling you, she said no. I think one of my brothers made a fatal mistake of going back after she had said no and asked her, again. It was all bad for him. He was grounded for like a month, and she took all his shit. So we learned as kids real quick, and it was a good lesson for my brothers to learn. If a woman said no, that's what she meant. You see what I mean? And that's me observing that as a little girl. It reinforced it. Plus, my father reinforced it as well. So there was no second chance for any dude in my life. If I said no, motherfucker, that's what I meant. And that's it. And that's all. So I can't even tell you how many dudes I fired. We didn't get to one date. I mean, hundreds. Because they don't want to talk to you, right? The talking phase. And then they say something and they want you to do or, some way, just whatever. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Well, come on. Why not? Click. Nope, I don't need to define my no for you. I don't need to back my no up with any kind of this explanations. I don't need to make my no palatable to you. I don't need to flavor my no, frost my no, or put it in a box with a bow on it. It's just gonna be no, motherfucker. Okay? It just you gonna like it or you whatever. You don't have to like it, but you're gonna accept it. That's the way it's gonna be. No. I mean, okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll finish these out. Here's the thing to call in. Um, let's see. She says, okay, I will watch the video. Okay, good. And it might be, he might be okay. He might be. But I just don't. I mean, I'm kind of nervous about it because of the way that you're so attracted to him. Because usually that kind of thing usually means you kind of lose control, and I don't want you to do that. It's very important that you do this responsibly. Okay, this is the thing I talk about all the time: is take care of yourself and make smart choices. Don't date smarter. Don't date harder. Date smarter. Okay, don't date harder. Date smarter. And the same energy that you put into dating harder is actually be less if you date smarter. Use your brain. I mean, just like wait, you have feelings and all the stuff, but just hold on a little bit, engage brain, and let's do this right, okay? And that way, when by the time you all jump in the sheets, you'll feel really good about it and know that you made a fabulous choice and a wonderful decision, and he'll be 100% your dude. That's what I want you to do, and then you won't have any problems. You won't have any issues about it. You'll make a good decision. He'll be happy. You'll be happy, and I'll be happy too. Okay. So let's move on to this one. This is number 6 of 10. You only got 10 here. I'm 21, and I have a question about gifts. If a girl does not accept a gift that you gave her, what does that mean? Oh boy, that's okay. You're 21, so she's probably around your age group. Well, God, it could mean a lot of things. It could mean that she feels pressured, that if she accepts it, that you're going to expect something from her, like a relationship, a good time in bed, loyalty, fidelity, commitment, and she's not ready to do that yet. So she's not going to accept it. It could mean that she didn't like what you was trying to give her, and she's like, oh, this is going up in the garbage can, so why bother? It could mean that she knows that it's going to maybe making a statement, and knowing that she doesn't feel the same way about you, she doesn't want to make you feel like she's taking advantage of you. It could be that. It could be that what you gave her, what you offered, is too expensive, and she feels burdened by it. I mean, whereas if you gave her, I don't know, some little jokey, like a hairpin or something lightweight, she might take that. But you be showing up with a bracelet or necklace or some kind of personal type of thing. She might not want to do that. Or it could be that what you chose to give her is too intimate. Like, I don't know, some clothing. I don't know, because you don't really say what the gift was. You just ask a very general question. So I'm pitching around here for possibilities. But things that aren't really too personal, like a book that you really enjoyed and you want to share with her. It's better if it's used and it's just giving it to her versus buying a new one. I don't know, some cookies or cupcakes or something like that she likes. She likes red velvet, and so you get her a red velvet cupcake or some red velvet cookies or a red velvet cake that you guys can share with her parents and family or something. I mean, it depends on what the gift is, which you did not give me any clue at all. But I'm thinking it would be one of those things. So think about what you gave her, the situation between the two of you, the kind of relationship that the two of you have, and if maybe your gift was a little bit inappropriate and making more of a statement than warrants by the level of relationship the two of you have. I would think it would be something like that. She might be feeling a little uncomfortable, knowing if she accepts it that it's going to be saying something to you, or she thinks it will be saying something to you that she's really not ready to say. So it's probably something like that. Okay. That's what I think. But, who knows? Who knows with some people? Okay. And then here we go with question 7. Anybody got a question? Let me just run this by you again to show this is what we're doing tonight. $10 on the spot dating advice. Please do not wait until the show ends to start trying to send in a question. If you have a question, do it now. Okay. People always do that. They get their courage up at the 11th hour. And now by then I'm tired. I'm ready to go. So if you want to get your question answered, do it now. Okay. Just cash up your $10 to Debsterism. See down at the bottom. or you can do a YouTube super chat. It's US dollars if you're from some other country. This is how it works. You pay the $10 first. You let us know that you paid. Then in the chat, you alert us to the fact that you have paid and you're ready to get your question answered. And either Shay or I will, acknowledge you and then tell you to type your question in, or post the link so you can call in and just ask your question on the air. And if you're going to type, go ahead and type it in a little email or a post, WordPad or something, so that you can cut and paste, because y'all, that little 35 words a minute finger pecking that y'all do, that ain't going to work. So figure that out. And just like I said, here we go. It's $10. That's what we're doing tonight, getting your question answered live on the air in real time. Okay, here we got another question. Oops. Let me get rid of this thing right here. Okay, what's she talking about? Visiting family, Thanksgiving, should I leave if raggedy relatives show up? Should I play nice? My relatives often deal with their nonsense. It's not my house, so I can't tell them to leave. Okay, girlfriend, what you talking about? What kind of nonsense? I mean, do they be like trying to attack people? Talking shit to people? I mean, what? Give me a little bit more so that I'll know if it's the kind of thing that that warrants you just turning them down and doing that UE and leaving, or if it's something that, you can just roll your eyes and tolerate for a couple of hours and make it through the holiday. So give me a little more info. I'll watch for your response on the screen, because I need to know that. What exactly is the kind of, historically, what have they done that would make you feel this way? What's their shenanigans like? So let me know. Yeah, we all have those raggedy relatives. Oh. It's like you just can't get away from them. It's like, you be thinking about your ancestors. Like, what was you doing? Okay, how did this happen? What choice did you make that resulted in this disaster right here? Okay, let's see here what she says. Rude to the relatives, sometimes drunk. Oh my God. So they wasn't invited? Weaponizing the children. Okay. And it's not your house. Okay, see, that's the key thing right there. Well, let me start at the end and work my way forward. Weaponizing the children. I was like, I'm not going to let you see my kids, kind of thing. Ain't nobody want to see them little rugrats anyway. Nobody give a shit about your kids but you. It's good because it saves us money on birthday and Christmas presents. You just flip it around so that they thinking that they're hurting you, and you show where it's actually a benefit. They'll be upset. They'll be like, that's right. My kid's not getting no presents. I'm not getting no presents either. This is fucked up. But I mean, they might not care. Oh, but turned it down rudely. Well, my thing is, if it's not your house and you're not hosting it, that's not your problem. Okay, you going to get the food, FUD, the food. Okay. Let me put this question back. Let me put this back up here. Drunk again. I mean, long as they don't be acting stupid with you. Now, then if they start, focusing their drunken talk on your direction, well, then, you better channel your inner Deb and start cussing folks out right quick. Alcoholic breath out for me. They turned it down, but then they show up. Is there enough food for them? I guess probably, because most people have too much anyway. And anybody who puts up with the rudeness, again, Sliver, as long as they're not rude to you. If those people want to take the rudeness and they're okay with being disrespected, especially if it's their house, girlfriend, you can't do nothing about that. You just sit there and eat popcorn or drink tea, sip tea, and just watch the show. That would be me. Then I would come and I would be like, "Ooh, Deb, let me tell you what happened, girl. You talking about folks disrespecting somebody? Let me tell you about this hot mess that happened at my Thanksgiving dinner." They try to show up unexpected so they can be worshipped when they decide to unexpectedly arrive. Please. Look what the wind done blew in. Some tumbleweeds and trash. Well, like I said, if the person invited them to their home, knowing all of this, and they still invited them anyway, then that's not your battle, girlfriend. That's not for you to do. That's for you, like I said, to sip tea and stuff until they start with you. Then that's when you either can leave or you can argue, fight back. And if they're gonna be tearing up some shit, it's not gonna be your stuff that they tearing up. So again, that's not your problem. I'm not saying anything here that's your problem. I'm seeing you worrying about somebody else's problem. If these people didn't have enough sense to tell these motherfuckers to stay away from their house and don't come where they're gonna call the cops on them if they show up and darken their door, well then I don't know what else to tell you. I wouldn't let anybody in my house that acted like that, but obviously they ain't me. I'm just saying. Cross your legs and sip tea, girl, and watch the performance. And then if it gets to be too much, you get your car keys and say, "Oh well, guess what? I've had enough of this. I'm leaving." And then you get in your car and you go home. But I kind of want you to go, and it might be selfish. I kind of want you to go because I want you to come back, and then on the next What the Fuck Tuesday, I want you to be all up in the chat, telling us all about the dustiness and who said what is up. Girl, we need the tea. We need the tea. I'm just nosy. I want to hear about it. Because all my relatives that act like that, they disinvited. They can't come nowhere near. As my cousin's husband's like, oh hell to the no, they ain't coming up in here. And he is like, he ain't having it. So they don't want to mess with dudes, so they leave him alone. Plus it'd be too many other people, he got too much backup at the house. So they come in there trying to act stupid, they get their asses beat. So they're not gonna show up. We never worry about them, they don't come. Let's see, she say. My reals are pygmies. Yeah, there you go. So that's you do what I'm telling you, girl. I tell you, girl, take notes. Take notes. Don't miss a thing. Don't miss a trick. So you can come and tell us all about it because I'm nosy. I want to know what had happened to it. I just want to know. Have to go so I can get the DNA sample. Oh right. Yes. Girl, you got so much tea. Oh my God. It's just gonna be tea spilled right and left. I can't wait. Yes, well, you just go and handle your business and you do all of that. Bring your plastic bag so you can put it in and safely collect your sample. And then let's do this. Ooh, juicy. I'll be thinking about this all day on Thanksgiving. Like, ooh, I wonder what Sliver's doing so I can see. I need to see this dirt. Marsha, you know how I am, girl. I don't want to be bothered with the dirt, but I still love to hear when other people do. I was like, what? And then they said that. Oh, girl, and then what did you say? Really? Girl, and then that when the fight started, ooh, who got punched first? Did they get a black eye? Did they get a busted lip? Was blood everywhere? What had happened? Was somebody pulling somebody's hair? Did they get dragged across the room? What happened? How many punches got thrown? Did furniture get tipped over? Oh my God, did you take pictures? What me a video? Girl, let's put it up on World Star. Yeah, I'm terrible like that. It's like, I can't promote violence, but I definitely condone it. So there you go. That's me. Okay, here we go with question number 7 of 10. Thank you. Anybody got some more questions? Here's a URL for you. We having too much fun with this. She gonna be like, damn, it's stupid. And she's at her family event laughing about what we just said. This is a URL for you if you want to call in with your question. It's right there in the chat stream. And or you can type it in there, either one, and I'll put it across the screen for everyone to read as we go through the question. Okay, so this young lady says here, I'm 7 months pregnant. Ooh, here we go. The ex-wife has no clue I'm pregnant or around. They have 3 kids. There'll be half siblings to my baby. Now he spends too much time with his ex and the kids, telling me to have a nice life. Do I go to court or accept being a single mother? Well, you're going to have to accept being a single mother because you was a single mother when you got pregnant, and you're going to be a single mother when you have the baby, and you was a single mother every second in between. I don't know what part about single you don't understand. You wasn't married to nobody. Single. Okay. Then, if he, just because he got a divorce from the woman or separated, whatever ex means, um, doesn't mean he doesn't still love her and still desire to be back with her and have his family back. You were just a dalliance, which you got confused. You did too much and let yourself be pregnant with some man who's still tied up with some other woman's baby. You made some stupid decisions. So yeah, get ready to be a pregnant, single mother. And most likely he's not going to want nothing to do with that kid. And he's not going to want to bring that kid around his other kids and his wife that he's trying to get back with. He's not going to do that. So you going to have that kid all by yourself. Then what you can do is make him pay child support, but that's not going to make him love the baby or want to be with it. That's what you angling for. Or to love the baby or want to be with you either. So there you go. You made a stupid decision. Yeah, so go, once the kid's born and they can do DNA tests and all that stuff, you get to, get child support because the child deserves that. Child should not have to be suffering, financially because you did something stupid. So he should pay child support for this kid just like he does for the other ones. But keep in mind that your kid is number 4 in the pecking order. So every time they have a new baby, the amount of child support goes down. So, whatever they getting, you're not going to get that amount. You're going to get a mere pittance. And all in all, you made a stupid decision. I don't know what to tell you. Here's our next question from Miss Giggles. Is it unhealthy to never want to date again? I don't know about that, girl, because you don't know how many people is in the same boat with you. I can't tell you how. I mean, Candace doesn't put them in because, it's the same thing over and over and over. People just are tired of it. They're exhausted mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They just, the whole process of trying to find somebody, especially those who use these apps and online dating sites and stuff, they're exhausted. They're exhausted. And they're like, what can I do? I really want to be with somebody. I don't want to, spend the rest of my life by myself. But it's just so hard. It's so frustrating. It's so disappointing. There's so many liars and game players out there, people who are manipulative and who, have somebody already and they just lying and stuff. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. So, um, you're not by yourself. So I can't really say it's unhealthy unless your mindset is that there's something wrong with you, or that, you get depressed and anxious about it and stuff. There's millions of people who are single and they like to have somebody too, but they're still living their best life. They go places with their friends instead of with a partner, or family or whatever. They have a good time. They have a wonderful social life. They buy property. They invest in different things. I mean, they live their life. They're looking for someone who is going to come in and augment their already wonderful life. They're not looking to start their life to make it be wonderful based on some other person who hasn't appeared yet. If you have that mentality, then yeah, it would be an unhealthy situation. But if are living yourself, treating yourself well and enjoying your life and having fun, being productive, getting your education, making your money, um, got your pets to love, got your family to love, got your friends to love. I mean, love is love. I mean, it may not be the same that what you want, but love, I think we have a constant amount of it in our life. It just comes from different sources. So usually, and this is my own weird theory, usually I think, so you have a lot of friends, like they just love you to death, they're there for you, your family, all that stuff. And so then when you get a partner, don't notice how they kind of back off. So the love that comes from your partner fills the gap that they've left. Have you ever noticed that? Everybody don't stay in your life the same when you have a relationship. They have to respect those boundaries and make room for that person. So I think, just analyzing relationships for my entire life, that the amount of love we have pretty much stays the same. It just comes from different sources. So people that understand that and work with that and accept it and embrace it are happy no matter who's in their life and who's not. They're the same. They're happy. So just think about that. Like I said, I mean, that's my own weird theory. It may not have any validity to you, but I thought it worked. It was pretty. I thought it was one of my better thoughts. Oh, I'm sorry. I did the same thing over again. Didn't I see? Hold on. Scrolling down. See if I see anything new. Once it gave one, then you got more dates. Oh, how bizarre. They can smell it, honey. They can smell it. It's this really, um, I think, when women are hungry for a relationship, the narcs can smell it, like how sharks smell blood and they start circling. When you just don't give a shit and they could tell that you don't give a shit and they know that they little games and they're, trying to create need and stuff in you, it's not going to work because you don't give a shit. Then there's nothing they can do with you. So they move on to easier prey. Because, when people are like that, they're looking for someone who's going to be an easy victim. They're not trying to invest years of their life and money and all the stuff in trying to conquer one person when they could have had 20 over there. And a lot of them would give more than you would give anyway. Because, like I said, I'm not buying a man's shit. I'm not doing nothing. If I cook and invite you over, you better count your blessings and be praising Jesus, Allah, Buddha, all of them, that you got invited to my house to eat at my wonderful table. But yeah, it's kind of a trip. You're right. They don't do that. Okay, so here we go with question number 8 of 10. I'm pregnant. My mother-in-law got close contact with someone with COVID, and she is insisting on visiting us tomorrow. What should I do? You should tell her no. You can't come until you get a COVID test and it shows that you're negative. So that's, within, say, next week, you should be able to come. But right now, you can't come. I cannot afford to catch anything. And the fact that you were in close contact means you're a risk. So you can't come up in here. So she going to say, well, I want to. It's like, well, people in hell want ice water too. They don't get it and you ain't getting in here. Now, why is that such a problem for you to say? Let me explain something to you, Lucy. You better find your goddamn voice. See, I can't stand it when somebody's trying to have a baby. Your job and your number one job as somebody's mother is to protect that kid at all times until that child's old enough and strong enough to protect itself. That's your goddamn job. So you can't even protect the baby in utero. You worried about your mother-in-law's feelings. Fuck that bitch. You tell her bitch ass that she's not coming to your house because she got some COVID cooties, and that's just the end of it. And if she don't like it, she can stay at her house and scratch her ass, and she'll get glad. But either way, it's not your problem. It's not your issue. It's not your concern. She's not coming. I don't even understand why you had to write me to ask me what you should say. You should have been said this. And what's your bitch ass husband doing? Because it's his mother? No, motherfucker, you go over there and y'all can quarantine at her house. You want to see her so bad. Don't come back here until both of y'all had a negative COVID test. And that's a very reasonable thing to say. Because, chances of her getting it are pretty slim, but it does happen when people are in close contact. So, and I don't know, I can't say that I remember reading what happens to a pregnant woman and how it may affect the unborn child, but you just, on the safe side, just say no. You can't come here. I don't understand. I do not understand the problem. These mother-in-laws, something wrong with them. My mother-in-law did that too, though. She was a trip. I shouldn't talk bad about it because she's deceased. But I mean, it's not bad. It's what she did. Because when it came, I picked my mother's dress for the wedding. Right, it was beautiful, like it was floral orange. Because we got married in September. It was fall, and so I got her this beautiful, like chiffon, orange, beige, soft orange colors and beige and white and stuff. It was really pretty on her skin. Looked really nice. Okay. So then his mother say, well, what do you want me to wear? What color should I wear? So I told her, want the same color tones as my mother, just pick one. And she said, well, what color do you not like? I said, green. I don't like green. What dress did she buy? Not just was it green, it was like putrid army throw up green, like the ugliest green dress you've ever seen in your life. And that's what she wore to the wedding. I was like, oh. And I think people thought I was going to be upset. I'm like, she don't want to be looking stupid in that ugly ass dress, not me. I don't care. But she did. You know what I mean? That's the one only color I told you that I don't like, and that's the color that you chose. And I'd never seen her wear anything green before that or after that, but she wore it to the wedding. It's like, oh. So as I say, these mother-in-laws, and they be having some issues with their sons sometimes. Hey, Kira, what you doing? I tried to call your raggedy sister. I can't get in touch with her. Yeah, it was very petty, girl. It was very petty. But like I said, she was the one looking ugly in the pictures. My mother looked gorgeous, and that's all I cared about. So he was sitting up there and said, look at your mother in that army suit. Looking like she needs a canteen and an M14. I was like, I just messed with him about it. I was like, your mother's dress is ugly. Don't talk about my mother like that. Oh, yes, I'm going to talk about her like that. Because I told her the only color not to buy is green. And guess what she wore? Not just green. I mean, it could have been like a pretty deep emerald green. I might have been okay with that. Forest green. I don't know, some other kind of light green. Something. Nope, the most darkest, dankest, just gray toned green you could ever find. Yeah, some G.I. Jane green. I was like, oh my God, I talked about her so bad. He was all kinds of upset talking about don't talk about my mother like that. I said, oh, yes, we shall talk about your mother. I'm sorry, sir. We shall talk about your mother because this is a hot mess. But I didn't do it at the wedding. I waited until after because I didn't want to move, ruin my mood. But all my friends knew about the green, and they're like, "Why is she wearing the green dress?" I said, "Cause she a bitch. What you think?" They're like, "Oh my God, that's so terrible. Why would she do that to you?" Like, it's not to me. I don't know what she's doing. I just, whatever. I didn't worry about it. But yeah, these mother-in-laws, they be tripping. I'm telling you. So here we go. Question number 9 of 10. Like I said, y'all, if you got a question, you need to ask it now. Don't wait till the very last minute and then try to keep me here because I'm gonna be ready to go. So if you got a question, something you want to know, $10 Cash App or $10 Super Chat, and then type it in here, or you can press this URL right here, and you can just ask it out loud, right on the air if that's easier for you than typing. But we'll be doing this every month. It's gonna be, either okay, let me not lie. It's gonna be either the third Thursday or the third Friday, depending on what I got going on. It could be one or both of one of those days. So watch for it. But it's gonna be one or the other. And but that you know, the third week of the month till we start back with DNN. All right. So question number 9: what should you do if your teenager tells you, "I don't love you"? What should you do? Laugh. I mean, are you serious? You think that's something that you need to do anything about? It just, it depends. I mean, how old is this teenager? If they're 13, some little brat teenager, you say, well, that's fine. Okay, I'm happy that you feel comfortable enough to share your feelings in this warm and open environment that your father and I have created for you. And just let it go. I mean, they're looking. Now, you got somebody 17, 18 saying, I don't love you. That's it with more awareness, more maturity, and say, okay, well, I mean, I'm glad you told me that. Thank you, because the fact that you don't love me means that you don't need to eat my food, and you don't need to live in my house, and you don't need none of my money. You don't need none of my internet. You don't need none of my electricity. You definitely don't need none of my food or water, and you don't need none of my money to buy you clothes and shoes and stuff either. So get the fuck out. Get out. Because you don't love nobody, and you think that that's okay to run around and say, get out and go and love yourself. That's what grown folks do. So that, like I said, this is a difference. You don't say how old this teenager is. 13, 14, those are little brat kids. They just mad, so they just go mouthing off. But you 17, 18, 19-year-old child, that's a whole new bag of tricks. I always remind young people that get to feeling jiggy. After 18, in some states it's 17, if anything your parents do for you, it's out the kindness of their heart. They don't owe your ass shit under the law, not no more. They are not obligated to take care of you. So if they still let you live there and they still take care of you and stuff, and they pay your tuition and they buy you a car and they put gas in it, they pay insurance for you and all this kind of stuff, you need to be thankful, little motherfucker. That's what you need to do. You don't need to be telling nobody I don't love you. That's what you need to think about. So, you have that right to say that. Of course you do. You have the right to feel that way. Absolutely. But what you don't have the right to do is talk to people that way and express those kind of feelings and think that they're going to still feel the same about taking care of you and being kind to you. They don't have to do that. You shared how you feel, and they have the right to share how they feel, which is, oh, is that what we doing? Get your shit and get the fuck out. And so there's nothing you can say then because you shared your true feelings, right? You felt all empowered and emboldened and mature, and you just want to express yourself. And so you did that. And now your little ass wrote a check, and now you got to cash it over there somewhere. So I hope you got a support system in place. Because otherwise you should have shut up. You did? All right, Kimberly, then what is your question? What is your question? I know everybody go crazy for the DNM. I think it's disrespectful too, but they be saying that kind of stuff. Some of them kids be hitting their parents and stuff, stealing their money, all kind of stuff be going on in these people's houses. Now, that never happened in our house because we was terrified of my parents. We already knew. You do anything that's out of line like that, you not going to live to see the next day because my daddy did not play that shit, and neither did my mother. One thing you wasn't going to do is respect them. You didn't have to like them enough, but you better keep your mouth closed about something that you don't like as long as they was feeding you and putting a roof over your head and all of that stuff. Oh, it's on the cash. No, you have to put it in here, girl. I don't have. Remember, I said. Well, maybe you didn't miss. You missed it. I don't have my phone with me. It's over yonder. I don't have. So just here. Okay, here it is. Thank you, Kimberly. What are the pros and cons of contract work? Oh my God, that's a deep question. Well, the pros are if you write your contract well, you get paid exorbitant amounts of money. Um, you can pretty much make your own schedule because they have, it's project based. So they want the project by this date here. They usually want interim reports, like, I don't know, every month, every quarter. I mean, depending on what the project is, every quarter, every month, every week, whatever. I mean, that varies. They want updates. There'll be, interim kinds of materials and stuff, deliverables that they want. All of that will be written into the contract. Sometimes they make a room, a space for you there in the office for you to work something if you want to, come in and work there. But usually, you do it at home. And so, it's on your schedule. It's all on. You could work 12 hours one day and then none the next. It all depends. As long as you have it done by the day that they need it. That's, to me, is the advantage. Of course, the disadvantage is you have to pay all your own taxes. If you don't contribute to Social Security and stuff, then that's going to be a problem for you. I guess you could put it into a Roth IRA or something, but you need to do something so that you don't start putting aside money for your retirement out of that money that you earn. You're responsible for all the income taxes. There's no employer matching. It's just all on you because it's a contract. And you have to provide all your own equipment and everything. You set yourself up as a business, and all your mileage and everything is all the stuff you have to buy is deductible from your taxes as a business expense. So it works. And you have to be a person who is self-motivated. Some people need more close supervision. I mean, the idea of contract work is very attractive to them, but they don't really have the personal discipline that it would take to work alone like that and to stay on task and to manage projects and stuff by themselves. They just don't have it. They need to just stay working at a job where they have, they work from 9 to 5 and their boss tells them what to do and then they do it. They're okay with that. Even though, like I said, a lot of people have a vision of themselves being an entrepreneur and, working solo and stuff, they really don't have it in them to do, which is what happens. They, go out and start a business and then the business fails for mismanagement because they didn't know what the hell they was doing and they don't really have that in them to to handle that kind of responsibility and be that kind of accountable, and to have that kind of discipline. So those to me are some of the pros and cons. Working contract, your time is your own. Like I said, they're gonna tell you what they need and when they need it by. It'll be all written into your contract. As long as you do that, you're gonna keep getting that money, and it's just outrageous. I mean, depending on your years of experience, you can just make outrageous money. And so you don't mind going paying your own retirement and all this kind of stuff because you're making, you're banking like 2 to 3 times as much as you would make on a job. The other downside though is that you don't always have a contract. So when you have a contract, you be balling, and then you might go, 4, 5, 6 months without anything. So you got to be good at managing your money, or I don't know, having some other kind of side hustle besides that. So just think about all of those things. Those are the pros and cons I've run into over the years. Just have a good financial manager helping you out, a good accountant or something like that, and you'll do all right. They'll advise you on what the best way to do to, mitigate your tax hits. What's she saying? Yes, try it. I would suggest that you have an attorney or have one of those legal services that you pay or whatever, because you'll need help drafting up your contract, and you want to make it, you want anything that they try to give to you, you say, well, I'll have my attorney look at it and incorporate your clauses in with my standard contract, and then we'll revisit this. That's what I tell them, because I'm not signing your shit. You're going to sign my shit. But what I do offer, if they have some points that might be important, we'll merge them together. And it's a little bit of money up front. Attorneys are not cheap. But like I said, you charge some outrageous money anyway, and it's going to be a 6-month contract that making that's outrageous money for 6 months. You can afford it, and it helps in the end, because then if there's some violation on their side and there has to be a termination of the contract, they have to pay a penalty. They have to pay a fee. You're supposed to work for 6 months, right? So you banked on that money, and then they decided to kill the project after 3 months. Oh, where is my money, motherfucker? You still gonna pay me. There's a penalty for that. So then you just don't get to end the contract and I just walk away. Oh, no, no, no. You're gonna give me some money. So you have to have all that worked into the contract too. So, think about it. And like I said, find you a good attorney and make that work. That's how you do it. It's a little bit of investment, time and energy and money on the front end, but get your equipment set up and what you need at home, your own fax scanners, color printer, black and laser printer. I mean, whatever you gonna need to make it happen. Couple of screens, a laptop, a tablet. I mean, whatever. You got to invest in all of that stuff up front so that you can go out and do the contracts and do them, from wherever you are. But then once you have it in place, you're good to go. Anybody else have a question? That was a good one. That was different. Thank you. Here's the URL if you want to call in, if you want to just say your question over the air. Okay, and this is my last one of the previously submitted questions, or that we found somewhere, but sitting around in the inbox. I'm a 20-year-old woman, and I recently had a boyfriend. My parents are immigrants from another country, told me to break up with him. She said it was too early for me to be dating. At 20? If not, she'll cut off with me. What should I do? Well, are you prepared to support yourself? Are you prepared to, like I said earlier, anything that your parents do after you turn of legal age in this country is through their own kindness of their heart. They don't have to do shit for you. So can you make it on your own without her help yet? Are you there? Have you reached that point of independence? If you have not, you're still a student. You work at some little Mickey Mouse job. You got an internship you working or something like that, and you need her financial support. Then you just gonna have to let homeboy go until you get to a position where you can call your own shots. Because you can't be the shot caller when you ain't the big baller. So your mom is feeding you and paying your bills and paying your tuition, all this kind of shit here. You better understand what time it is and shut up and get that degree and get whatever it is you need while she's helping support you, and put his ass in the wind. Honey, men are a dime a dozen. See, and she don't want you to be getting caught up and distracted. That's what her. She don't want you to be distracted from what you need to be doing, which is very easy for young girls because they be all caught up in the fairy tales of, oh my God, but I love him so much, but I love him though, and then you be doing stupid stuff like getting pregnant. So I'm kind of, with her. She wants to make sure that you have a good success record, especially if they're immigrants. I mean, they have to really work really hard to learn the language, to get established, to get jobs and all this kind of stuff. So they put in a lot of work to get to where they are and to help you come up. So respect that work for your parents. I'm telling you, that motherfucker that you're trying to date, he'll be there. If not, there'll be 10 more just like him. So he ain't nothing special. Just let him go. Let him go. They might have, you know, they might sliver. It's hard to say because she, you know much about it as me. This format is real cryptic, so we don't use, it's not them long ass letters like in What the Fuck Tuesday. So yeah, I mean sometimes I guess it could be a little bit more information, but we're not gonna really worry about it. What she say? Oh yeah, but I love him though. I love him. Oh God, if I had even 50 cents for every time I heard that in the letter over the last 30 years, I'd be rich. Oh my God. So yes, young lady, just let this go. Okay, let it go before it causes you a problem. Because you trying to fight over him. You're not married to him. He's just merely a boyfriend. What you need right now is some financial stability, your education, and your family support until you are stable enough to support yourself. Keep that in mind. Don't make no stupid decision here. Giving up what you got for some dusty ass boyfriend. Oh my God. You screaming? Why? It's just, it's true. Come on now. It's just sad. But anyway, I guess that's it, huh? That wasn't too bad. That was not too bad at all. We made it. Shoot, that was a long time. It's 7:45. Okay. You guys did pretty good on the questions. That was all right. Okay, but we'll be back. Like I said, we'll be doing these shows the third Thursday or Friday of every month till next June or July or something when we start with the Dusty News Network. So you have plenty of opportunities to come back with your question if you were shy tonight. We'll be back here in December and then again in January and then again in February. So you have plenty of opportunities. So just think of your question and type it out somewhere and hold on to it until it's time for the show. We will be back with the Dusty News Network show. That's what the thumbnail looks like for the 22nd. And that show, people submit their letters in advance, and they tend to be longer than what we had tonight. Those letters are picked, though. Not everyone who submits a letter will have their question picked. If you would like to submit a question for What the Fuck Tuesday, look in the show description down below and you'll find the link. Or you can navigate over to debsterism.com. So everything around here is Debsterism. Debsterism.com, and you'll see the page that says Get Advice. Just click that link and fill out the form. Okay? So anyway, thanks you guys for coming on this Friday night. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I did. This was very interesting, and Slivers and her family, boy, I can't wait to get this tea. I'm just like, just jazzed up and just ready to go and hear the dirt. So I'll see y'all. You guys have a good weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday, okay? Bye-bye.